Hi traders, welcome back to another video. So this video, let's talk about how did I manage to turn my life around from having nearly $500,000 in debt, I'm saying US dollar, to right now where I am. I have not made a lot of money in trading, but I've made multiple seven figures, right? So let's talk about my lowest point in life. So my lowest point in life was probably about 4 to 5 years ago. So I've been trading the financial market for about 6 years plus. So I started trading when I was 18 years old, close to the end of 18 years old, around 19 years old, I started trading. It was around 2018, around 2018. Right now I'm 25, and let's talk about how did I get into that. So when I first started trading, I was like an average trader. I lost a lot of money. I wasn't here trying to sugarcoat that I wasn't a gambler. I was a gambler when I first started trading. So I started with 3,000 Aussie dollar. So back then I was in Australia. I was studying at the same time. I was constantly taking part-time jobs because I don't have money. To be frank with you, the other day on, I forgot which one of my video, there were one comment he said, because I went abroad and studied in Australia, that defined that I'm from a rich family. I'm not from a rich family. But when I was studying in Australia, I had zero pocket money. So you can imagine, as a student at that kind of age, 19 years old, 20 years old, you're in Australia, you're studying abroad, and you don't have any money. So I had to work different part-time jobs to make sure that I at least can get to enjoy a little bit. When my friends wanna hang out. I still remember my favorite hangout spot was a fish and chip restaurant in Blue Mountains, down the street. I forgot what's the name, but anyway, $3,000 was when I started. So why did I decide to start trading? I have also shared this before. There was a day where I was looking up what's the best way to make money. Then there are a few ways, whether you do e-commerce, whether if you do real estate, whether if you do financial trading. And I've tried various different things before I decided, hey, trading is the thing. And even on my first year, I still try out various other businesses such as drop shipping. And I also tried drop shipping during the COVID, but unfortunately failed. And then I also researched on different, home to home, walk-in service, such as cleaning couch. I have to buy a machine, I clean couch for other people. But anyway, all of these failed. Trading was the thing. So I invested 3,000 Aussie dollars into the business, into trading, sorry. And guess what? My first trade, I still remember. I forgot the exact pair that I took, but on my first trade, I made about 40 to 50 bucks Aussie dollar. And it was a lot. It was bloody a lot at that time. And I thought, hey, if I can just open and close a position within a few minutes and I made 50 bucks, that's amazing. That feeling was different because I was constantly working in restaurants, bars, casino. Most of the time I'm in the hospitality industry. It means I'm servicing people, and it was pretty tiring. I have to literally work from morning till midnight because I had to work OTs to cover my rental, a lot of bills. So yeah, it wasn't easy. So to me, being able to use a smartphone, I'm not sure you can see, a phone like this, and ultimately make 40 to 50 bucks with the minutes, that's fancy. And that was when everything went downhill. I then continued trading like a gambler. I was always in front of the chart. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no technical skill. I had no mindset training. I had no idea of what really the financial market is. I just keep trading non-stop like most of you. All right, so I keep trading. Guess what? I lost all of the $3,000. And after I lost $3,000, guess what? I had a bit more savings, right? And guess what? I took out my savings, big part. Let's say I had about $12,000. I still remember I had $12,000 saved, and those were hard-earned money that I worked days after days, hours after hours, OTs after OTs, and I saved about 12,000 Aussie dollar. And I put my second deposit was 5,000 Aussie dollar. So very quickly after I blew the 3,000, I then deposited $5,000 into the account again, and guess what? I lost all of the money again. But it was pretty dramatic. There was a big roller coaster, big swing on the account, because when I was on the verge of blowing up my entire account, when my balance goes from 5,000 drop to 1,000, I remember around 1.3 to 1.4k. Then I again had a massive trade where I just kept blindly, DCA, I dollar cost average into the position, and it just spiked up, and I made a lot of money. The account went from 5,000 goes down to 1.3, from 1.3 pumped up to about 12 to 13,000 dollars. And guess what? Beginner mentality that would never withdraw any sort of money. So if that time I withdraw the money out and I keep the initial investment, which was $5,000, I would have still be net positive in that way. But guess what? From $12,000, I went on scalping news. I remember I scalped the NFP or GDP, and guess what? The $12,000, at one point it was all the way to 22,000, and one big candle smashed in. $12,000 account go all the way down to a couple $100. So when the account was at a few $100, guess what? You then think it's a small money, and I just gambled all the way. I lost all of that. That was the second big amount that I lost. For some of you might not think it's a lot, but at that time, as a student that was studying abroad with no allowance from the parents, I had to literally work hours and hours to save that $12,000. It was bloody a lot. So imagine my monthly salary was about 3,000 Aussie dollar, and after tax, blah blah blah, probably 2.3, 2.5. And $5,000, I have to work for 2 bloody months with OTs after OTs, shift after shift. At the same time, I have to do my school assignments as well. So yeah, lost all of the money. Then it was after the $5,000 loss, I get back to my job, because I still have a couple $1,000, but I was too scared that I had no money left. And guess what? I continued to gamble. Again, I had about $6,000-7,000 remaining in my bank account. I went all in. I had about $1,000 left, and guess what? At that time I had my ex-girlfriend. I was with my ex-girlfriend, and I lost all of my money. So to her, I was crazy, because on all of my entire wall at that time, I had different chart patterns pasted on my wall, like A4 paper, like lots of paper. It's like someone is like a psychopath. So at that time, she was like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And I'll literally sleep at 2 a.m., wake up at 4 a.m., and I just continue gambling. But it was until a point where she confronted me and said, "Hey, let's take a break, whatever." So we separated, but I continued mastering the craft. The real turning point was when, after I lost all of my money, I had lots of bills stacked up, and I borrowed money from my friends to pay my rental, because the rental in Australia is bloody expensive. As someone like me, I'm from Malaysia, the conversion rate is about 0.3. So if let's say I take Malaysian ringgit to convert to Australian dollar, I'll only get about 30 cents. And Malaysia, our money is bloody small. Of course, there are countries that are even smaller, but in comparatively small. So it was a lot of money rental for me, and I had different bills, and I had to eat as well. So that was really a period where I still remember, I would either eat the nuggets from McDonald's, just eat the McNuggets, or I would just buy breads, like those really cheap loaf or whatever. As long as I fill up my tummy, I fill up my stomach, it's okay, you know. And of course, time passes by. I still continue gambling a little bit, but my size went really small. I sized down a little bit. I went back to my casino job, and I continued working, save a bit of money. That was until a day where I still remember I was on my night shift, and I was working I was working really hard. For most of you, if you watch this video, if you know me in real life, you know I'm someone who gives my absolute 110% best when I'm doing something. Even when I work for someone else, you know, let's say my shift ends at 1 a.m. I would stay there until 1:30 or 2 a.m. just to ensure that I finish all the thing, even if I was unpaid for that extra one hour. I'm those person. Some people think I'm being fake, but that's just me, you know. My personality, even up until today, if any of my trade club members has problem, I will sit down, have a call with them, and I'll say, let's fix this. Unless we fix this, I won't be able to sleep well. All of them know exactly what kind of person that I am. It was until a night where my manager, she stood beside me, and I was already pretty exhausted at that time because I was having OTs. I was working over 12 hours on that specific day. Walking here and there, pretty crowded in the casino restaurant. I was serving in the VIP restaurant in the Star Casino Sydney. And then she told me, look at that watch that guest was wearing. And I was like, what was that? I didn't know nothing about luxuries. I don't know anything about the branded stuff. It was a Rolex. It was I think I said this before in my previous video. It was a Rolex two-tone Submariner, and it was expensive. So at that time, let's assume it was $15,000, $20,000, whatever. She said something that was really straight to the point, which was, you will never be able to afford it, even if you work your entire life. You work your ass off, you cannot afford it. And she then proceeded to say that this client, he has a 3 million plus Aussie dollar bungalow. It was a pretty big house. She said that even if you work your whole life, you will never be able to afford it as well. It was that sort of 1 to 2 statements that really woke me up and said, hey, if I continue working like this, where's my furthest? You know, I'm always trying to project what my future would look like. And I look at my manager, and I went to ask I still remember, I went to ask my manager. I forgot it was assistant manager or manager. He was an Italian. I asked him, how much do you make per month? And he was pretty proud, and he was pretty happy and said, I made about 5,000-6,000 Aussie dollar. And he thought that it was a lot. At that time, I thought it was a lot as well. But let me ask you, if you were to work your ass off until you're 40, 50 years old, and you barely make $7,000, $8,000 in the F&B industry, you would kill yourself because your physical health just cannot handle it. Imagine if you were to carry a tray every single day, walking in and out, washing plates, serving people. Even if you are a manager, you still have to deal with a lot of things. Lots of people think manager is the one that gets to enjoy, gets to rest. Not exactly. When you're working in a crowded place, it's not exactly like what you imagine. So I was thinking, hey, if I were to become a manager after 10-15 years of hard work, and I climbed the corporate ladder, how long would it take for me to achieve the figure that I really think is good enough? That was really the point where my entire mindset shifted, and I thought I need to start doing businesses. I need to at least, either I trade the financial market or I need to start up something. That was when, like I told all of you in the beginning of the video, I tried out drop shipping, I tried out walk-in service, buying machine, help people cleaning their couch, because those are service where I think people really value. So I was really thinking, what kind of product, what kind of service does people really value? So, and I tried out a lot of things, didn't work. Then I'll sit there every single night on my sofa, because I was already broke at that time. I went back to my job, so I'm like an ordinary 9 to 5. But instead, I was always taking OTs out. My soul was crushed. My physical health, my mental health, everything was crushed. And trading didn't work out at that time. That was when every night, I still remember the entire living room was all carpet. And I have a coffee table. I'll sit there at the couch every single day, just take out my note and write business plan. Although nothing worked out, I will still be there like a real hustler, write down every single day what I want to do, what kind of plan do I have, what kind of business idea. Nothing worked out. And eventually, guess what? I go back to trading. I went back to trading, and that was when I grind hard. And believe or not, I made the most money during that period, because my entire mindset shifted and I focused a lot on education. So I took a big portion of my savings. So I think it was about 4,000 or 5,000 Aussie dollar at that time. To me, it was bloody a lot. So I had to recoup myself, and I have to go back to work, save my money all over again. And I spent a lot of money on various courses. Just various courses from 2-3 different platforms. So that was when I realized, hey, then I'm like again, like most of you, write down a lot of notes every single day, studying courses, write down notes, back testing, all that. That was when everything took off. So I turned $3,000 into $120,000. Pretty high risk, but I made it. I turned $3,000. I still remember when I first crossed that $10,000 mark, I was so excited. Then from 10 or 12,000 drop back to 8,000, and just go on, and just hustle all the way through to 6 figures. Then when I get to 6 figures, guess what? I failed in a business. And that was when I also went back to Malaysia. And I was thinking, at that time, as a young people, as someone who was like 20, 21 years old, you have like 6 figures in your bank account. I'm talking US dollar. You're rich. So I became very arrogant, and I have to be transparent with all of you. I deserved to fail at that time. Why? Because I had zero respect towards money. I would intentionally walk into LV, Gucci, all of these branded stores, and I just shop without any purpose, because I make so much money from, at that time it was a lot of money. But right now, if I were to make, like, to me, 100K, honestly, is, humbly speaking, is not a lot. It's quite little from my current position. But at that time, it was bloody a lot. And yeah, I would just blindly go shopping and all of that. And eventually, one day, I invested lots of money into a business. I invested a couple 100,000 ringgit, so almost all my money into an F&B business. I thought it would work out, because my mindset at that time was, if I could turn $3,000 into 120K, nothing could ever stop me. And that's when everything went downhill. I invested most of my money into the F&B business, and I lost all of the amount. When I say I lost everything, I literally lost all of my savings account. So every single penny that I made over the past, let's say 2 years of trading, all was gone. So it was gone. It was also during the COVID period. The COVID-19, at the beginning it was named coronavirus, then COVID-19. I lost all of that, and I sort of got, I wouldn't say scam, but the business itself was dishonest. Until today, I still don't talk about all the details, because I feel like everything's over. I just don't want to bring up this because most of the people, if they listen, they might think I'm trying to criticize my business partner at that time. Lost everything. I didn't just lost all of my savings. I also went into a significant amount of debt. When I'm saying debt, I'm talking 7 figures ringgit. So 7 figures Malaysian ringgit. So at that time, I thought I was done. I was over as a 21, 22 years old guy. This 21 years old. Failed. I lost everything. I went into debt. How could I possibly get out of it? Because I did not have the actual experience of climbing out of drawdown. And that's what made it so difficult. So guess what? When I failed, obviously I would I would cry in the shower every day. I was sort of depressed, but I quickly regathered myself, and I say, the only way I can get out of the drawdown, the setback, was if I go back to trading. Something that has made me the most money, get me to where I was, just go back to trading and things will be solved. And I went back to trading. That's when I focused even more on backtesting. I backtested so many strategy, not many strategy, but 3-4 strategy. I backtest, forward test. I went really hard. Then FTMO popped up. Back then FTMO, about 4 years ago, FTMO was still unpopular at that time. So I was probably one of the first batch that really went hard on FTMO before my Forex fund even came out. My Forex funds came after FTMO. So that was when I made a couple $100,000 from FTMO. Unfortunately, I lost the invoice. But for transparency purpose, if you watch this video, if you click into my channel, you will see that I made 400k plus trading prop firms in 2023 and 2024. This also shows that I really indeed I can just say I turned my life around through prop firms. Then I made a couple $100,000 from FTMO. They banned me. Then I hop onto my Forex fund, made also a significant amount of money from my Forex fund, about 250k or 300k from my Forex fund. Then up until today, till present, in total from prop firms, I made the calculations from my with my accountant. I have an accountant to manage my company that takes in all the income. I made over $1 million plus in prop firms in total. On personal account, I made over $2 million plus. So you might be questioning, hey, how do you make so much money within the span of 4 years? The thing was, when I made the first couple $100,000 from FTMO, I did not spend it because I've been through a lot at that time. I went through debt and I recovered my debt. A big portion of that went into repaying my debt as well. Then repay my debt. Then I go back to reinvesting most of the money into my personal account. And when two goes up together, it was insane. The power of compounding, the power of leveraging prop firm to my personal account, it was insane. But I'm not here trying to suggest any of you to go trade prop firms unless you know what you're doing. Prop firms, from my point of view, unless you are highly profitable already, don't go into prop firm, because I have seen a few individuals approaching me that have lost 6 figures in prop firm challenges. You may not think it's true, but 6 is true. I've seen a lot of people. The other day, I had someone who approached me and say that this female trader, this girl lost $1 million ringgit plus in Forex trading. Crypto, Forex stocks, all that accumulatively over 250k US dollar. These are real actual stories where people literally approach me and say they lost everything. So I recouped the entire thing and everything just went up. If I were to say one thing that has allowed me to really got out of the drawdown, the setback, the biggest setback in my life, it was it was just focus. At that time, I went back to trading. I said, if I need to get out of the debt right now, what should I do? And I focus on trading. I don't aim at the money aspect. I just keep learning. I back test. I just forward test, and I keep trading. And at one point, everything just took off. And yeah, here I am. When I make a video like this, some of you, there was definitely be haters say that it's not true. How could you possibly make like $3 million plus from trading and all of that? But the real fact was, it is possible. In trading, it's possible. And if you look at all of my videos here on my YouTube channel, all of these were live trades. So imagine if I can make it's quick. I would just say, once you know what you're doing and once you start scaling up the figure, it's quick. You make money fairly quick. But I learned the most was I need to respect money. You see, $50,000, 46, that's 100K, and you keep adding up the math here and there. It quickly adds up to a lot of money. So in one of my one year plus video, I also talked about 2 major patterns that made me 7 figures. It was also true. So if you are currently in debt, if you're currently facing setbacks in life, my biggest advice to you is still focus. Focus on things that you can control. Things that you cannot control, let it be. What are the main thing that made people struggle so much is they keep looking back. It's good to reflect and review, but it's even more important to move on. I've seen a lot of people, once they get into debt, all their entire mind is, how can I quickly make money? Get rich quick scheme. Like, how can I make money quick? And guess what? The more you're in a rush to make money, the more likely you're going to fail. So it also comes down to why I'm being so strict with the 1%ers Trade Club circle. Because the 1%ers Trade Club is something that I created about 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, after I have already made over $2 million from trading. 7 to 800K from profits at that time, and also personal account. So now it goes down to why some people would dig the hole further and go into more debt. It's because they don't focus on knowledge. They don't focus on improving their skill set. The only way you can get out of a significant amount of debt, I believe at that time, as a 21 years old kid, to get into 250K debt, let's say 250K US dollar, it was already a lot, right? So how did I overcome that? It was me focusing on education. And that's why up until today, every single Trade Club members who join into our Trade Club, the first thing I will tell them is always, don't expect quick money. If you are serious in changing your life, improving your skill set as a trader, you first need to improve your knowledge, and you need to build confidence. Confidence comes from where? Comes from experience. Experience comes from back testing, forward testing. So it all links up together, and that's why up until this point, you see, I still tell all of my Trade Club members that I'll be posting 1 to 2 lessons every single week, and we have about 400 plus lessons videos inside our education channel. So why do I always recall all of these videos? It's to ensure that they keep growing. Don't stop there just because you think you're good enough. When I first made that 120K, I invest all of that into a F&B business. I was arrogant. I thought I would easily make back the money, and guess what? I failed miserably. And when I get out of drawdown, what did I do? I focused on trading, I mastered the skill set, and eventually I just climbed out of it. And that's the reality of life. The more in a rush you are, the more likely you're going to dig a deeper hole, and you bury yourself subconsciously inside it. We have Trade Club members who are in significant debt, and I still tell them, take it step by step. Don't focus on the money aspect. If I can do it, you can do it as well. I'm a real life miracle that I went from significant amount of debt to where I am right now. I'm comfortable. I'm taking care of my loved ones. I'm taking care of my family. We're traveling a lot. And why do you still not see me up until this point buying fancy things? It could be cars or whatever. There's no right or wrong. There will be people who enjoy these luxury things, but why up until today I still don't do all of that? And it's a question that I receive a lot as well. If you're so rich, why don't you buy Ferrari? I can afford a Ferrari, but why? I just don't enjoy it. Like, do I need to be driving a Ferrari to show that I'm a good trader? If you join my trade club, I have P&Ls where I make 60k, 100k in a week or even in days. Like, I can afford them. But the key thing is, I care a lot right now on how can I continue growing my skill set, and of course making more money as a trader. And at the same time, how can I diversify my investment all out there and make sure that I have different source of income when I'm old. And another thing is, when you get to a certain level, ordinary people, they will never understand that the mission has changed. Of course, not everyone, but my vision, my goals has a significant flip from how can I make more money by myself to how can I ensure that my trade club traders also do well. So there will be times where if my mentees or our trade club members come to me and say, hey, I'm not doing so well, I will literally get upset. And that's how deep I have built the connection with all of them. If you were to see all the chats here, look at how many texts I receive every single day. I literally built the connection with all of them to ensure that all of them are doing well, not just as a trader, they also grow as an individual. So I hope this video also show all of you that don't be afraid. A lot of times you thought that life is tough. Let me tell you, I've been in a situation where I thought everything was fucked up. I thought everything was fucked up, and I thought I couldn't get out of it, and I still get out of it. Recently, I had problems with my family and all of that. I thought I couldn't handle it. I still handle it. My grandfather just passed away not long ago. I was pretty upset, but guess what? I still need to do my job. Life goes on, whether it is in trading, in your personal life, whatever has happened, it has happened. Reflect, review, grow, move on. The more you need money, remember this, the more you need money urgently, the more you need to stay calm. Because only the wisest person in the room, they'll be able to execute without emotion attachment. And that's what exactly you need as a good trader, is to focus on the skill set, not focus on the money. It's easier to be said than to be done, but focus on how can I take one good trade, and ultimately you'll see the P&L picking up along with your knowledge and your skill set. And I get asked a lot, how do you know someone is fake, someone is real? Look at the way they speak. A trader will trade and show results, and it all is inside the knowledge. If someone who's approaching you and claim that they are a good trader, but if you ask them different questions, everything that they teach is pretty flat, which is, oh, I use this strategy, that's it. Successful trading, after so many years in the market, it has a lot of components. Your money management, your risk management, your psychology, your mindset, your discipline, these are all the easiest thing. But the key thing is the advanced method, which is how do you master your re-entry? How do you master your exit? How do you precise your entry? We call it entry position. How do you advance or enhance your price position? How do you create a multiple scenario planning every single day? How can you better at your exit? How can you study your MFE, your NAE, all of that? And if I were to show all of you, right, these were things that I don't just talk, I really emphasize a lot, even within my own students. And I always tell them, hey, I don't care if you are my trader, if you are my mentees, whatever, you have to go through all the lessons. And that's how we made it so strict. So if you were to look into my Discord, right, over the past 2 to 3 years, because I was so deep into how can I create better trader, whenever I have time, I just keep building lessons. See that under elite, advanced, intermediate, foundation lessons, like literally we got hundreds of them. Mindset training also a lot, at least 100 of them. Trades review, Zoom call, recaps. So it also showed that I'm walking the talk. All right, whatever that I say, I really do emphasize on them. You know, education is key, knowledge is power, and the only way you can flip your life around and to really strive in your life is to focus on knowledge, is to focus on improving your skill set. And again, if you're currently facing setbacks in your life, and especially if you're dealing with a lot of debts, you need to learn how to fix your mindset and improve your skill set and your mindset. That's the only way. So I hope all of you get inspired, and I hope all of you also learn something new from the video. And if you like the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you all love this part of me just sharing story, and I'll talk to you later.